Hi everybody and welcome back. So today we've got something new from Vaporesso. This is actually the FORZ TX80 and it is all IP67 rated. So it's from the tank all the way down through the mod, which I think is great. It's got like that rubberized feel on like a cage on the tank, which I think is really, really unique because of the fact that they do make a lot of IP67 mods, but never a tank sort of IP67 feel to it. So I really like that. Right off the bat, I was like, yeah, please. So this is an 80-watt device and this works, the menu works very, very similar to like the Gen mods and the other Vaporesso mods. So it's still got like that power eco, the pulse modes and things like that. But now the Axon chip has actually been updated to the 2.0. With the 2.0, they have a new FT mode built into the menu system. So it has been upgraded, which I think is great. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over all the settings in this. We're going to go over the tank and everything else about it. It's got a really, really nice feel to it. And it looks similar to another mod that's out there, but we're going to go ahead and look at it closer down below. So let's go ahead and go down and we're going to look at the Vaporesso FORZ TX80. Okay, so here we are with the Vaporesso FORZ TX80. This is the box that it comes in. It says FORZ. On the back, you're going to get some kit contents as well as some specifications and your scratch off authenticity. So inside the box, you're going to get your mod. You're going to get your tank, which this is the FORZ Tank 25. You're going to get a spare glass for the tank with some O-rings. You're going to get a spare coil, which we'll go over. You're going to get a Type-C charging cable. You're going to get a little key, which I'll show you how to use this later on. You're going to get a Vaporesso FORZ pin, so you can wear this wherever you want or just display it. And you're going to get all the regular paperwork, which is going to be your warranty information, your laser anti-counterfeit label instructions, and your manual. Now let's first go over the tank. Now this tank is a 25 millimeter in diameter tank, at least on the base, and then it bulges out. This has got a rubberized coating as the cage on the outside of the glass. That's to protect it because this device is actually IP67 rated. So they did carry it through to the tank, which I think is great. But again, it's 25 millimeters on the base, but it does bulge out. As usual, it does have 3 different airflows, 1, 2, and 3, which I always love with Vaporesso. And whatever you do to one side does happen to the other, and it is on a stopper. Now, right at the top, which I really like that they provided it, it's just, I don't know if you're going to need it, but if you want to, this is a dust cover so that when you're putting it in your pocket or your purse, you can just quickly go ahead and put it over. Now, this does have an 810 drip tip, but the 810 drip tip is actually with the O-rings, meaning it doesn't have the inside O-ring. I really wish that they would get to the regular standard 810 drip tips so we could put our own drip tips and aftermarket drip tips on there. But for sure, the shape of this is very wide board, so it's got the same type of feel as an 810. Now on the top, it is a top fill. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to be filling through the top through either one of these slots. Now the key, this is where the key comes in. This key was actually provided for a number of reasons. The first reason is going to be to take this tank apart for cleaning and whatnot. What you're going to do is you would actually use the key to loosen this up, and they do provide it for you so that you can do that. And I'll show you a couple other reasons why you can use it. But that was primarily the reason. Now, when I'm talking about these fill holes, I want you to look closely. This does have like a rim around it because of the cage and the inside of the glass and things like that. Those kidney holes are not as big as the cutouts. They're really kind of thin because of the fact that you only have a little bit of space between the outside and the inside. And I want to warn you about that because if you're trying to just dump juice in it, you're going to get some that is going to come back at you because the fact that it is kind of narrow in there because of the outer side of the cage. So I just want to let you know about that. But it is top fill. And it's got a nice turn where it's not too much threading, so it's pretty nice. The only thing is that it is a little bit it's not too smooth. It's a little bit rugged, to be honest with you. Now to go into the base, all you need to do is just unscrew the bottom. It's a little bit crunchy. I'm kind of surprised, especially being Vaporesso, that this is so crunchy. I'm not sure why it's not feeling Feels a little bit sharp, but it's not like gonna cut your finger off or anything. So the threadings I wish were a little bit more, I don't know, when you're putting, yeah, once you get to the like last threading, it's very, very crunchy. The rest of it's pretty okay though. But I do want to mention that. Now, another thing that you can use this key for is actually to get out your coil. If you need help, you can actually lift it this way. You can also use your own nail if you want, but it is to help you with that. But usually you might not have that with you, so you would just go ahead and just use your nail to pop it out, and it'll pop out just like that. This is a press fit in coil. This is the coil that's currently installed in it, and this is going to be the 0.15 ohm resistance coil. Now, this one is rated between 60 and 80 watts. And this is a mesh coil. This is their GTR coil. And that's what that looks like on the inside. The spare coil that they give you, this is also another GTR coil, but this one is actually the 0.40 mesh coil. And this one is good from 40 to 60 watts. And that's what that one looks like. I'm going to keep in the one that's already installed, which is the 60 to 80 watts. Now, whenever you're installing a new coil, you do want to make sure that you're priming up that coil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So what you want to do is you just want to put a little bit of e-liquid on wherever you see the cotton, and then a little bit on the inside just to help it wick up a little bit more efficiently. So a little tiny bit on the inside, and that's just going to help it wick up a little bit faster. Of course, whenever you're putting in a new coil, I always recommend leaving it for a minimum of 5 minutes until it gets fully saturated. And then of course, you're just going to close it up because we already press fit it. Again, that's kind of crunchy, and I've already washed this out. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and fill it. Like I said, you do want to be careful when you're filling it. What I suggest doing is like tilting it to the side so that you don't have too much pullback. This does hold 4.5 mils of e-liquid. See, it doesn't have too much pullback if you actually tilt it, but then again, you can't really see how far you filled it yet. There you go. Huh. Just got to take it easy and take it slow. With this cage and the coil, it is kind of hard to see where your e-liquid level is, but I do love the cage that it has. I love this protective cage. I wish this was an option to where like you can actually put this on over the glass rather than it to be built in, but it does work. I can see my e-liquid level really, really good right there. And we're going to go ahead and put that aside and go over the mod. Okay, so here is the FORZ TX80 mod. It does have like that leather feel right here. Really, really nice. It's IP67 rated. It does say Vaporesso right there. It's got no other branding right there. It's got your menu system here. So you've got your fire button, you've got your up, your down, and your mode button. So that's going to help you get into the modes. This right here is actually your Type-C charging port. And it is covered really good so that it is waterproof, shockproof, and dustproof. So that's where your charging port is. It goes in really nice and covers it really, really good. It goes really nice in there. I like that. On the bottom is where you're actually going to be able to put your single 18650 battery. The batteries are not included. It does have a spring-loaded 510 pin. And then, of course, it does say Axon right there. And this does also have the new Axon 2.0 chip. So the Axon chip has been upgraded. So you'll see that within the menu. Now, when you want to get into the bottom, if you notice there's some scratches, the crunchiness that you heard in the tank, I actually had a really big problem trying to take this cap off. It would not come off. It wouldn't come off for anything. I had rubber gloves on. I had everything. Finally got it to loosen up. But I really had a hard time with this. Now, you can use the key, which is what I was doing to actually loosen this up. I tried loosening it up with the key. It wasn't gripping it. I tried it with this side with the key. It wasn't gripping it. Of course, it doesn't fit this way. So yeah, I had quite a hard time trying to get this actually open. But once I used it a few times, then it made it a little bit easier. But I just want to let you know about those scratches. This does have like that O-ring seal on it because of the fact that it is waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof. Now, it doesn't have the little negative sign here, which it usually should, to show you that your battery orientation would be negative side up. It doesn't have that, but it says do not use batteries with broken skin. And then it's got your serial number right there. So, and then this is where your battery goes on the inside. It does clearly have the plus sign. Not sure if you can see that. So it would be plus sign down, and then just go ahead and put this on. Now, one thing I do like about it is the fact that this doesn't fall easily. It does stay kind of stiff. And what I do is I actually back it all the way up until it clicks so that I know that the threads are catching good and it's not going to over catch, and then close it down. Now for me, I'm actually seeing a little bit of a lip when this is fully closed. So I don't know if this is just a problem with mine, being that I first couldn't get it off and now I have it off and it's coming easier to open and close, but it does feel like it's just got like a tiny little gap for me. Now to turn it on or off, it is 5 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll turn it on. It does say Vaporesso. Let me zoom in here. Now again, this is your up, your down, and your mode button. So this is going to be your select button, your mode button, your menu button. So this is a device that goes from 5 watts all the way up to 80 watts. And it scrolls very, very fast. Now it does not round robin, so you will have to come back down. You've got your resistance, you've got your seconds fired, you've got your wattage, you've got your battery, and then you've got the mode that you're in. And then, of course, you would have to go down or up. Now to lock the buttons, but not the fire button, it is 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3. So you can fire it, but you will not be able to actually change any of the mode or any of the buttons at all. It's actually going to tell you that you need to unlock it. 1, 2, 3 will unlock it. Now to get into the menu, this has got a very, very similar menu to the Gen mods that they have. So 1, 2, 3 of the mode button, or you can press and hold it. You're actually going to get to this one. This is actually the FT mode. This is their newest mode with the Axon 2.0 chip. And then they've got the pulse mode. You've got the power eco, smart TC, DIY mode, system set, and then exit. Now this FT mode is their newest mode. And this is supposed to have something to do with the heating and getting the flavor and things like that from the e-liquid. We're going to be testing it out when we get on top, but honestly, the booklet and the way that things are explained, it doesn't really make too much sense. So I'm not really going to go into the science behind it. Because even in the book, it doesn't really explain it too well. So in the manual, the FT mode is considered the FX mode. It's a default mode that they actually have on the Axon chip. And what this is after the atomizer is installed, the device will enter the FX mode automatically. By adjusting temperature, heating, speed, and time, the FT mode releases the flavors of e-liquid adequately, delivering the perfect balanced taste experience consistently from the very first puff throughout. So basically, it's going to even up the heating and the e-liquid flavor. I'm not exactly sure. So that is the FT mode. The next one is your pulse mode. Now the pulse mode we are familiar with all the other Vaporesso mods. Basically what it is when you're setting it to a wattage, it's giving you a consistent pulse so that it's not going up or going down. It's just giving you a consistent pulse, which is definitely my favorite mode. Power Eco, if you get to about 40% battery and you want it in the Power Eco, it's supposed to actually save your battery by adjusting the wattage based off of the battery percentage left. And then the next one is Smart TC. So in Smart TC mode, this is actually where you can select your temperature. You can go up and down. It goes to a maximum of 600 Fahrenheit, and then it round robins to Celsius. The next one is DIY mode. This is where you have variable wattage, variable temperature, variable voltage, bypass, super player, and exit. Now in variable wattage mode, if you select this is where you can actually choose your vape strength, normal, hard, or soft. And this is where the power boost will be, or it's really like a ramp up time, depending on how you like it. I always keep mine on normal, no matter which device that I have. So that is the one that I select. Variable temperature, this right here is where you can choose your material, stainless steel, nickel, titanium, or you can reset. You can also go into your TCR and change that according to whatever your TCR settings are. The next one is variable voltage. That is it's better for people that are very well versed in variable voltage vaping. Bypass makes it an unregulated mod. And super player mode, that means that if you've got any type of an atomizer with a coil that is under a 0.1 ohm resistance, they suggest you using the super player mode, and that will go to a very, very low 0.8% low resistance. Okay, the next one is your system set. This has got a lot of nice features. System variable or smart variable wattage. That means that if you have this turned on, which I do like it on, it'll actually adjust the wattage according to the type of coil resistance you have. It'll do that automatically. I do suggest that. The next one is the Auto Eco. If you want to keep this on auto, you can go ahead and do that. I do not like it on auto. The next one is going to be brightness. This is where you can actually control the brightness to make it either brighter or weaker, like that. I think that it's perfect bright enough. The next one is flip screen. If you want to go ahead and flip the screen, you can do that. It'll ask you if you want to flip it, yes or no. I do not want to flip it. Default, this is to set it back to default settings. And this is for your version number. So if you want to see your version here, and then of course, exit. This will get you back over to system set. The final one is exit to get back to the main menu. And we're going to put this one back in fit mode. There we go. And it tells you exactly right here on what mode you're on. Okay, so that is pretty much it for this. I think we've explained pretty much everything on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the tank on here, and then we're going to go up, we're going to vape on it, and we're going to talk about pros and cons. So let's go ahead and go up and have our vape. Okay, so here we are back on top with the FORZ TX80 from Vaporesso with the FORZ tank 25 or FORZ 25 tank. So let's go ahead and have a vape before we talk about anything else. As always, Vaporesso coils never disappoint. GTX coils, GTR coils, whatever coils they have are always super flavorful, and I really appreciate that from Vaporesso. Now, we're going to go ahead and go over the tank, and then we're going to go over the mod. Now, currently, I do have this set at only 58 watts. That is the wattage that I have it on. This coil that I have in here is actually the 0.15 ohm resistant coil. It does go from 60 watts to 80 watts. I'm going to go ahead and bump this up a little bit more. Now, the mod is actually an 80 watt mod, so the max that I can actually go up on this is going to be 80 watts. So that's it. We can only test it up to 80 watts. Clouds, flavor, it just increases with this. Now I do have it on the FT setting. I'm going to go ahead and change it to the pulse mode, which was my normal preferred before they upgraded the Axon chip, including the FT mode. So let's go ahead and just change that over to the pulse mode, because I do want to show you the differences between the two. Now that one is very flavorful, but I have it in the pulse mode, so let's go ahead and have a vape that way. Now, for me, I'll be totally honest with you. With the FT mode and the pulse mode, they're very similar. I know I was going to go over the tank, but yeah, they're both very similar. Now, with the FT mode, I do get a little extra sweetness on my tongue. So it's got like more of like a heat boost, I want to say, with the FT mode. Now, the description of the FT mode in the booklet, honestly, doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I read it 80 times. I've tried to decipher it 80 times. I cannot figure it out, like what they're trying to say. It's talking about having flavor. It's talking about, you know, continuous flavor throughout. And it does do that, but so does the pulse mode, to be honest with you. Now, like I said, I do notice a slight difference between the FT mode and the pulse mode, but it's nothing like major. It's not something that's like earth-shattering, I guess. Either mode that you choose, you're gonna be delighted with, I promise you. And the description on the pulse mode is very similar to the one on the FT mode. But I know since I've been using Vaporesso mods for so long, that the pulse mode, what it's doing is it's giving you a constant pulse. So you're not getting a rise and a fall of the vape as you're vaping. It's literally just pulsing it to you. So you're getting that flavor dead on every single time. At least that's how I explain it. But anyway, now going over to the tank. I just had to get through that. Over to the tank. Now, the pros on the tank are going to be the fact that I love this cage. I love the look of the cage. I love the feel of the cage. I like the fact that they're matching it to match the mod. So the mod is IP67 rated. They're now making the tank sort of IP67 rated. There's no way to make it waterproof because it does have a coil in it. It's got airflow. If you get it in water, of course, you're going to flood out the coil. But it does have that shockproof and dustproof feel to it. Now, they do give you the dust cap, which helps with the dustproof on the drip tip. And it's not going to, I mean, it'll get dust on the outside, but not on the side of the glass, which is not really, it's not really dustproof. It's more shockproof, and not shock like you're going to throw it down or anything like that and it's going to save the glass. But if you were to drop it, the glass is not going to break as easily as it would without that. So I really like that. I like the top fill turn. I like that it's not turning a quarter turn, because a quarter turn to me doesn't always feel secure. So I do like that it turns, but not too much. It's not like you're constantly unscrewing it to actually fill it. So I do like that. The drip tip, I don't like the fact that it's not a standard 810, but I like the feel of the drip tip, and the vape and the bore in it is really, really nice. Triple airflow, I always love that from Vaporesso. I want to say Vaporesso, for me, was one of the first to have it, and I can't remember the tank name of it, but it was a bigger tank, and I absolutely loved the tank, especially with the 3 holes of the airflow. I feel like it gives it a round flavor, like it's almost like having surround sound or having regular, you know what I mean? So that's what it feels like for me when it has the 3 airflow holes, but that's just personal opinion. Now, on to my cons. The first con is going to be the fact that when you go to fill it, you have to be really, really careful. It's got big kidney holes, but it doesn't have enough space. Where they put the cage and where they put that inside part for you to unlock it, to actually take it apart so that you can clean it or change the glass, that right there it's blocking it. So it's not like it's a full open kidney hole. And I really feel like they should have opened it up a little bit more, either made it a little bit wider or more inward, and make the inner part a little bit smaller maybe. But that I'm not a fan of. It's not like it's a con, but yeah, it is a con. I don't like that. The next thing is going to be the fact that when I did try to take this apart to clean it when I first got it, it's really, I was testing changing out the glass. Now, usually I don't change out the glass because I like the bubble glass. Most of it, everything comes with bubble glass, so that's when I'll change out the glass. If you have a straight glass and a straight glass, I don't usually do that. But being that I had a cage, I did want to try it because I wanted to see how easy it would be, because I already know that by filling it, it's going to be really, really close to the glass. Like, it holds 4.5 mils of e-liquid, but it's like the glass and the coil are really, really close together. So there's very, very little room in between the two. So in my mind, I was like, well, let me go ahead and check out the glass. The glass is really, really hard to get off. And when you go to put it back on, the O-ring that is down there is kind of hard to actually put it back on. Thankfully, I got it back on because I was struggling with it. I didn't take it all the way out. I only took it halfway and then I put it back in. And I made sure that everything was showing, you know, perfectly back together. But I think that they made it a little bit too strong. I wish they would have made it where the glass would easily come away from the cage and it didn't have that O-ring on it. The O-ring would stay stationary. So that's another con. The last con that I have is the threading on it. The threading, I don't understand, because for Vaporesso products, I have never had a crunchy threading. So I was very, very surprised with this whole kit with the threading that it has. And I hate saying that. I don't like, you know, having to report something like that to you guys, but I'm honest here, and I'm going to give you my total honest opinion, and I do not like the threading on this. Now, the threading when you're putting the base back on, when you're first putting it on, is fine, but when you get to that final turn, crunchy. Another part, which I know we're going to get into the mod afterward, but this bottom battery door, let me tell you, the first time when I got it and I tried to open it, it literally took me 30 minutes just to open this. We're done with the tank, by the way. Just to open this, it took 30 minutes, and I scratched it up, which I hate scratching up my devices. I tried everything I could so that I wouldn't scratch it up. I tried wearing gloves. I tried to get rubber things. I even had this thing, you know, trying to get it, and I couldn't do it. I literally had to finally, after everything, trying the key, trying the rubber, trying the gloves and everything, I literally had to get a set of pliers to actually catch the door to open this. So I had to put the pliers right on the side of here to get it to open. It wasn't going to open. It just was not going to open. It wasn't going to budge. It wasn't going to move. It just would not open. And I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to test this. I only get one for testing and review. So I didn't want to mess it up, but there was no other way to get that door open. So that to me is definitely a con. The threading, they really needed to work on that and test it out and make sure that, you know, it's not as crunchy. So I'm hoping in the retail version, it's not going to be that way. Now, a pro on the door, which I do like, whenever I have any devices that have this type of door, a lot of times these things fall. And they fall, and you're trying to unscrew it and it falls, and you try to unscrew it and it falls. I like the fact that it's stiff and it doesn't just lay down on its own until you push it down. So that to me is definitely a pro. 18650 battery, capable. It doesn't come with the battery, of course. I really think that this device would have thrived as a 21700 device because it only goes up to a maximum of 80 watts and the coil is only maxed out at 80 watts for the 0.15 ohm resistant coil, for the mesh coil. So I feel like this could have gone a little, maybe even 100 watts with a bigger battery. I love the feel of it, but I feel like it's just, it looks top heavy in my opinion. So the tank looks a little bit bigger than the mod. So I just feel like if it was just a little bit bigger, it would be perfect. Now I'm pretty sure that they try to make it, you know, where it's similar in like looks of maybe like the Boost, what is it, Aegis Boost, which I never did get that for review, so I don't have it for comparison, but from the pictures that I've seen, it does have that look to it. So that's why I went and I looked it up when I was doing my research on it, and it does look very, very similar. Now I will tell you, I like the kit as a whole. Once it's put together and everything, it works absolutely amazingly. You've seen the vapor production, the flavor is amazing. The menu is, oh my god, the flavor. The menu is easy to navigate. It's very similar to like the Gen mod and the other Vaporesso mods, so that's good. I like the fact that you can either have it on pulse mode, you can have it on the FT mode, you can have it on DIY. DIY to me is just great because you're making it your own. Being able to change your vape strengths like normal, soft, or heavy, or hard, I think that's great. Pretty much everything in here you can make your own, so I really like that. Now the only con that I have to the mod other than the battery door is the fact that being that they did upgrade to the Axon 2.0 chip, I feel like they should have upgraded the menu. And I don't mean by adding the FT mode, I mean by changing the menu, making it look just a little bit more different. This menu has been around for a while now. It's not that it's hard to see or that it's hard to navigate, it's just that there's so many mods out here now that come with like the vertical screens that I really feel like a vertical screen would have made this absolutely perfect. But I know it feels like I'm complaining so much about this, but I have to tell you that the pros do outweigh the cons, to be honest with you. In my opinion, when I'm vaping this, when I've been testing it, it really, really does. But I do have to be honest with you, because if it happens to you, and you're like, Wendy, why didn't you tell me about this? Then I'm going to feel really bad. So I do want to bring all honesty to you. I'm very, very positive about it because the fact that it does work absolutely beautifully. The flavor on it, chef's kiss. I'm telling you, the flavor is outstanding, just like any of their other coils. You really can't complain about the flavor. Now, it does have Type-C charging, but I never recommend charging a battery inside of the device because of the fact that it does bring down the longevity of the battery or the device. I always recommend an external charger, but if you need a quick fix and you're out on the go and you don't have an extra battery with you, at least it does have Type-C fast charging. It's rugged, it's durable, huge pros, because those of you out there that like to like put it in your pocket and you're out there, maybe a mechanic or you're working out in the road or you're doing construction, this is great because it's got that IP67 also. Well, it's got the rubberized feel to it as a cage on the glass as well. So it's going to help you protect it even better. So I think that that's definitely great. And especially if you're out there and you're working mechanic or whatever, you got that dust cap. What? This is like perfect for you. It really is. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for my review. I'm going to leave the colors up here for you that they come in, but I want you to leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this. I cannot recommend the flavor more than I already have. The flavor on here is immense. I absolutely love the flavor. If the only real problem with this is going to be that crunchiness of the threading. Other than that, this is a really great device. I really feel like you would be happy with it. Single 18650, some people like it, some people don't. Some people want single battery mods that are 21700 or 2700. I totally understand you. But for me, I always carry two 18650 batteries with me. So it's kind of a no-brainer. It doesn't matter to me because I always have extra batteries. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about this. Let me know how you feel about it down in the comments, and that way we can chat about it. And if you like the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, or you can give it a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button because that is important. And that way you can be notified anytime that I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Vaporesso, for sending this my way for a review, and I will talk to you in the next one.